When people hear the phrase, something you must never look at, I think most of them picture a face. But that night, the first thing I saw was not a face. What I saw was beneath the noren, the short split curtain hanging over the entrance, a pair of bare feet standing neatly side by side. That was all. From the Ghost Files. Back then, I was working nights at a yakitori place, a little shop serving grilled skewers at the edge of an old shopping street. If you walked a little way from the streetcar stop, there was a narrow alley along the river. The shop was tucked away at the end of it. The owner, his wife, and I ran the place, just the three of us. It was late February. Heavy sleet, not quite rain and not quite snow, had been falling since evening. On a normal night, the place could get so crowded your shoulders would bump against strangers. But that night, even after 9, no one was really coming in. The only customers left were a man in a business suit drinking alone, and 2 older regulars in work clothes, sipping shochu. I was at my station, where I could see the entrance, doing prep for the next day. Outside the shop, the noren hung low, so anyone passing by could only be seen from the knees down. Still, that was enough to tell whether the street was busy. Even that night, wet leather shoes and narrow high heels kept passing by, to the right, then to the left. I could see so many feet, so why was nobody coming in? Just as I was thinking that, the owner said quietly, "Let's not take any more customers. Take the noren down and bring it in." I nodded and slid the door open a crack. Cold air flowed into the shop at once. I reached up to take down the noren, and then the owner's wife spoke in a low voice. "Someone is standing outside." My eyes dropped before I could think. Just beyond the noren, only 1 sheet of cloth away, there was a pair of feet, bare feet. They did not look wet from the sleet. They were bluish-purple, as if they had been soaking in water for a long time. Bony feet, and the toes were lined up in a strangely neat way. Around the left ankle, there was a faded red and white braided cord. Too close, I thought. If it were a customer, they would not stand there in silence like that. It was close enough for someone to press their face against the curtain. I froze with my hand on the noren. I could not move a single finger. From behind me, the owner said, "What's wrong? Hurry up and bring it in." But I still could not turn around. I tried to speak, but my voice caught deep in my throat. Then, from the back of the shop, a voice so deep it seemed to cut through the room called out, "Kid, don't lift it, don't look." With that one sentence, I felt a little life come back into my frozen body. The voice belonged to one of the regulars in work clothes. He had been drinking quietly until then, but at that moment, he was glaring at me as if he were a different man. Then he told the owner to bring him sake and salt. As the owner moved to get them, the man in the suit's phone rang. He stood up with a click of his tongue. He said, "I'm not going to sit through this little performance." Then he paid his bill and started toward the exit. The regular grabbed the man's arm and desperately tried to stop him. "Don't go outside," I remember him saying. "If you can't see it, that makes it even more dangerous." But the man in the suit shook him off roughly and pushed past me. At that moment, I looked beneath the noren again. The feet had multiplied. Beside the first pair of bare feet, there were two more pairs. Thin feet, the same color as the others. It was as if the things outside had lined up one by one without making a sound. The man lifted the noren with the blank expression of someone who couldn't see a thing and stepped outside. The next moment, I heard a strange sound, like a short breath being drawn in, like the beginning of a laugh. Then the man's figure disappeared into the darkness of the alley as if it were sinking. He did not run. It looked as though he had simply slipped beyond the edge of the shop's light. The regular took the sake into his mouth and sprayed a fine mist over the entrance and the noren. Then he placed salt on both sides of the doorway and flung a handful out into the alley. His movements were strangely practiced. No one could say a word. After several seconds, the regular lifted the noren himself and went outside. The owner and I followed him, trembling, but there was no one there. The alley was straight. On one side was the shop wall. On the other was a low railing, and beyond it, the black river. There was nowhere for a person to hide. At most, 20 or 30 seconds had passed since the man left the shop. If he had run, we should have heard footsteps, but we heard nothing. Only the sleet-soaked stone pavement, giving back the shop's light in a dull shine. When we went back inside, the regular finally told us. When he was young, in a small village in the Sanin region, along the Sea of Japan coast, he had seen the same thing twice. In that place, they called it mukae-ashi, the feet that come to welcome you. At first, you only see the feet, under hanging cloth, in the shadow near water, through a gap in the stairs. If fear makes you look up, sometimes you are taken away right then. He said he did not know the reason, but in that village, people believed sake and salt guarded the threshold. Still, for those who have already been noticed by the other side, or those who answer the invitation and step outside on their own, it may already be too late. That was what the regular said. Long ago, he said, there had been one person who never came back. While he was telling us this, the owner's wife did not look toward the entrance once. Before he left, the regular asked me one strange thing. When you're washing your hair in the bathroom, eyes closed, has the floor around your feet ever suddenly gone cold? The moment he said it, I knew. It had happened to me a few times. Before I rinsed the shampoo out, just the floor around my feet would suddenly turn cold. He said, if that ever happens and you open your eyes just a little and you see a pair of bare feet that shouldn't be there, never look above the knees, especially if there is a faded red and white cord tied around the ankle. Since then, I stopped staying in the bath for very long. Even now, when I rinse my hair in the shower, I check the temperature around my feet first. And when that one spot feels unnaturally cold, I still don't open my eyes.